smg4. We all know who he is, and if you don't, then what are you doing here? Get the hell out of here. Everyone who has seen their videos has nice memories about them, but you can't deny things have changed, to say the least. Not only the redesigns, but also how they tell stories, and there's nothing bad about it. But there's one thing that is a real problem that no one can deny. The problem is how the show seemingly forgot they can have villains. I'll explain myself in a minute. You see, in the previous seasons, they didn't just introduce a star, but also had a series entirely about villains, and even had a smaller arc prototype with Enzo. Ever since the modern era started, the episodes are about they hating each other, villains that don't have personalities or even lines, and the movie. Talking about the movie, I have to talk about the problem with villains in arcs. It all started well in the Waluigi arc, where he wasn't just the focus, but he was extremely important, charismatic, and unique. Even to this date, he's one of the best arc villains. Then, history repeats itself. The Bob arc, which wasn't the best arc, but it was still pretty fun, and Bob was the main focus. Of course, he was redeemed, like Waluigi, which kinda destroyed a part of the villain's pantheon, but at least Waluigi kept being evil. But, well, this is when things start getting bad. Anime arc isn't just the first arc without the name of the villain in the title, but also it's the first that changes villains midway. Francis, while entertaining, is just not that fun. The fact they changed Peach when they had such an interesting plot just to redesign and Maggie was a bad move, and Killing of Destiny wasn't that well because we barely know her at the moment. She literally just had 3 episodes to meet her, and well, let's just say it doesn't get better from here. Well, it kinda does. The YouTube arc starts with a great villain, smg3. While he's not that prominent at the start, he does get better. But despite its things, it doesn't save itself. The anti-cast isn't a good cast of villains. They are mostly like just goons, which are just made to fill the cast, and they are entertaining at all. But at least we have smg3. I hope he's still evil and all of that, with how the finale ended with him being banished to basically hell. Oh boy. Alright, first of all, Zero is a great antagonist, but let's just say it gets worse. First, he becomes stupid, like none of his plans make sense, he doesn't do anything to win the final battle, and it kinda screws himself over a great amount of times, and well, now let's get to the real problem. They redeemed smg3, for the love of God. That was a bad idea. He was never that sympathetic. He killed millions. He enslaved people. He's a maniac. Who had that idea? I know he keeps good character development and he's the best developed character of them all, but he takes a lot of fun as a personality. He's barely the same character in the next arcs. Yeah, it's just not good. It's just not smg3. And that left a void no one has filled. Alright, this commits several sins. First, Niles. He sucks. His plans don't make any sense. He's dumb. He's not intimidating. The police plot twist is dumb. And seriously, Jesus Christ, they ruined the SMG. God. Well, then there's how they went for the entire goddamn arc without a villain. Seriously, the movie is the only part with a villain. The Xbox cult leader is fun, but he's instantly killed off at the start. Jesus Christ, what a disappointment. Oh boy, this arc. First of all, Larkang is a fun villain. He has a motive, he's entertaining, he has a nice gimmick, he can be threatening, but the problem is in that he's goddamn right. First of all, thanks to the retcon of Genesis, he's indeed right. The meme guardians aren't fixating, they are a plague. And I just simply don't like it. They don't even point this out. They just treat Lyocon like he's bad, when in reality he's not doing nothing bad outside of the things of kicking out of the racism, which it was forced. Why now they suddenly ban other IPs when before they didn't? It doesn't make any sense. And if I was Lyocon, I wouldn't like Psycho or Mother Megan. Look what they did to Megan. And neither maniacs like smg4 or the rest around. They just didn't. They put it simply doesn't work. With the rest of the arcs, I can see why they fight the villain. But with Lyocon, fighting wasn't a good thing, because it doesn't disprove his point. The only reason they won was for a Deus Ex Machina, with Sakurai suddenly changing his mind. That's bad writing, and it's seriously spiteful, especially with all the contradictions they did to themselves in Genesis. For the love of God, suddenly this monkey is stronger than the being supposed to control reality. Fucking great. And well, Lyocon isn't really that much of a villain, and he's not as fun as Waluigi or Francis even, but it doesn't work as a villain because his motives and what smg4 has overall simply, it does have a point, and the fact they put him as the bad guy just is as pitiful, doesn't work, and feels offensive. Lyocon didn't deserve this at all. Also, they redesign smg3, and this isn't smg3 anymore, so I'll just call him PK3 or something like that, because this isn't the guy. You ain't the guy. You ain't that guy. Right? Now let's get to the worst example of this. And don't tell me that's not an arc, because it is. You see, according to the wiki, this has 3 villains. The first being that box vendor, then the keyboard, and finally the evil Eldritch Group. Oh, I don't like them. They lack personality, they're fun, and outside of the creepiness factor, they don't have anything going for them. Actually, SMG's if Zero possessing Axel was a lot scarier, and that was tame by mature standards, but it was creepy to smg4 standards at the moment. But now it's tame. This is tame. It looks ridiculous, and well, then there's the main problem is that this arc didn't need these 3 bastards in it, and I'll explain why. You see, this arc was different. It was about the stress of smg4, his anger, his inner turmoil, and that was great. You know, during the release of Mark 10, the video of Mark 10, it was actually a great amount of hype about the movie, because it was different. It wasn't about a monster brilliant to face. It was unique, and they fuck it up making in a keyboard process and you found, oh, we didn't do. No. They had a great chance to make something unique, different, and finally make an arc that is genuine about the chapters, but no, they had to screw it up, because they can't let their characters genuinely grow without trauma. They seriously had to destroy something to let them grow. First tested an axle and now this shit. Well, also Bob's career, but that doesn't count. Also, smg4 is career, but you know what? Yeah, the characters really, he can only grow in this show if something is destroyed, and I hate it. But now I'm going to the problem this arc causes to the villains. You see, if you look closer, you can see there's been a lack of balance in episodic episodes, which is a very big problem, especially in these later seasons, in which they force conflict between the characters. A great example of this is the recent fishing episode, which is one of the shortest we haven't seen in a while. The whole episode is basically just Mario, Bookins, Bob and Maggie going fishing, which is a good idea, but the problem is that it gets old, because when they start fighting on, no, you shouldn't fish like that, you shouldn't fish like that, it's the same thing over and over again and nothing changed. And it gets boring seeing these characters just fight each other, which became something very constant, as I said previously. But you know what could have changed this and made the episode longer? A certain thing called a villain. Imagine if Admiral S swipe in and became the villain instead of being Mario versus Maggie again. It would have been fun, it would have been a nice return of a character, and it would make sense. It wouldn't make Mario the bad guy once again, which, believe me, is something that happens a lot in this season. Actually, just imagine how many of episodes of this season will be safe, because the Constitution episode does have antagonists, the USS government, but even then I wouldn't count them villains because they are just doing their work. Then in the Mark 10 episode, they do have a villain, and a pretty good one, Wario and Waluigi. But you know what's the problem? They only are the villains for like 3 minutes till smg4, and this gotta be perfect arc, swipe in and take the show. And that annoyed me, but I saw the potential, I was excited for the movie, but god damn it, the movie sucked because they didn't take it further. They had to introduce a glitch horror. They ruined it, they blew it. They blew up Wario's chance to be a fun antagonist for the episode because they wanted to focus more on a movie in which they just introduce a villain that is not even a villain. They like a real name, personality, everything. It just sucks. And the thing is that in this entire season and most of the previous season, they don't have villains. They are mostly just Mario being the antagonist or something like that, and that annoys me. But there's a thing even worse than not having a villain, but disrespecting the ones you have. I'll explain myself. You see, in this episode, Kimbu becomes the main villain halfway through, and I like that. It was a fun villain in Mario, but in Boo Busters, if I'm not wrong, and he was also a great villain in Stupid Luigi's Mansion. Wanna know the problem? He doesn't have a single goddamn line in the whole fucking thing. Like, are you kidding me? They have antagonists, a villain right there, and they don't give it a single line. Actually, this is a problem with lots of smg4 characters nowadays. You see, this problem is very noticeable. First, Bowser for most of 2021, and he doesn't have many lines after Mario Origins. Or was it previous? Well, it sucks. Then Peach. He doesn't have a single line, they turn her into a card, and, well, they use the same goddamn screaming sound effect. Then Toad. He had lines in the smg4 Got to Be Perfect movie. Nice. The problem isn't that. The problem is that during most of his apparitions, he's more like a background character that only has like 2 lines at most, and he's usually just doing the punching bag, which it was, but at least he had lines, at least he had interactions, at least even jokes, and now he just started to be a punching bag, which would be nice if it wasn't because Toad could no more. It wasn't an asshole, it was fun. But when he's an asshole and just suffers, it's just not fun anymore. But there was a time when this wasn't the case, and there was great villains in this show. And the best example of this is Dr. Buddhist, also known as Lord Crump from Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. You see, Dr. Buddhist isn't just a fun villain, but one of the oldest and most iconic. He's a good fighter. He has stupid plans, but he's kinda smart at some point. He's great, he's fun, he's unique, and if he wasn't for SMG3, he would be the most iconic SMG4 villain. He is one of the most oldest recurring antagonists and best antagonists in the entire show. I mean, he's part of some of the best classic episodes, and that's something you can't deny. Even some people don't remember much except for him. And his rivalry with Eggman is just chef kiss, amazing. But just as Peach, he was kinda put to the side. He became just a cameo, and nowadays he barely has any scenes. Actually, he did appear in an episode of the It's Gotta Be Perfect arc, and I challenge you to find which episode and tell me, because it's a blink and miss it moment. And it's not that modern SMG4 can make villains. I mean, the Fall Guys episode and the Killer Inc. are very good possible new villains, but since the villain club separated for SMG3, they made him just weird. And with the world meme thematics, will they even put an actual meme villain? And they have thousands of those. I mean, they even have great old characters to replace SMG3, but no. Also, by replacing, I mean they take his role as one of the main villains to be a rival. Because seriously, the show needs someone like SMG3 to take his place, and there's like 1,000 girls that take his place. But seriously, why the fuck they don't simply replace him? And he was good. Or we don't have to get rid of the old, but just. In conclusion, basically nowadays SMG4 villains are exclusive to arcs, and now the episodes have to be mostly about the characters facing faceless threats that don't have voice or names, or fighting each other, which, let me just say, it's not that fun. Actually, I kinda hate it, but what can we do? We just have to wait for them to change things. But there's still hope. As long as these classic characters exist, as long as SMG4 has fans, and as long as this show exists, I have hope in my heart that this great, iconic, and very fun antagonists for in their own special ways can return and change things, and I don't know, I just miss them.